views and opinions expressed on this program are those of John Marietta and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Fayette County Recorder of Deeds Office or Fayette County government. This program is privately produced and funded, and no county resources are used for its production or promotion.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I was trucking up the highway, minding my own lane, with some dude in a Prius went and flipped me off. Guess my redneck hit him wrong. Seems like everyone these days is a ticking time bomb full of hate for folks like me who don't agree and ain't ever gonna change. And it gets me thinking,
Hey everybody, it's John Marietta and I am the Hillbilly. And it's another Trumptastic day right here in Fayette County. I want to thank all you for listening in, and today's show is being brought to you by Burns Krause Funeral Home, Thunder Hills Feed and Supply, Fayette Recovery Storage and U-Haul, Laser Brothers, Highline Motorsports, Humber Sanitation and Septic Pumping, Fayette Structures, Country Motor City, Premier Auto Glass, Fayette County MAGA Patriots Group, HBJ Radio LLC, Miser's Garage and Tire Center, Solid Foundation Ministries, The Ink Spot, JB Market in Dunbar, Mung's Auto Body and Repair, Fayette Structures, and Pine Creek Structures are coming on board with us. Hey, I thank everybody for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I'm just going to go ahead and go right to the opening. This is a half-hour show, and I really like half-hour shows because they don't last too long.
Right.
I got John Ventre with me. So, I'll tell you what. I like friends and neighbors. I like a man who don't need a golden key to open the doors of government. A man who don't bow to the party bosses or the fancy suit crowd. I'm talking about John Ventre, a true son of the grassroots. He ain't running for the good old boys table. He's running so the people can have their seat back. Now let me tell you something. The establishment crowd don't take it too kindly to folks who stand up to their little kingdom. You know it, and I know it. They sneer, they smear, and they shout out anybody who won't kiss the ring or play the game. They become so high and mighty, they think they can decide who's worthy to speak for we the people. Maybe I need to read that again. They think they can decide who is going to speak for we the people. But that's not how freedom works. The torch of liberty don't belong to a committee. It belongs to the common no man who still believes in God, country, and hard work. And they'll call folks like you and me names. They mock the We the People movement and the grassroots patriots. But that just shows how scared they are. Because they can't control the truth. They can't bully conviction. And they can't buy the spirit of a man who serves something higher than politics. That's why they try to silence men like John Ventre. Because he answers to the people, not the puppet masters. And I am reminded of Galatians 6:9, where it says, "Let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not." That's a promise, brothers and sisters. If we keep the faith and keep plowing forward, the grassroots harvest will come. So when you hear the name John Ventre, don't think establishment, think revival, think grassroots, think of a man ready to serve, not to rule. I wrote that this morning.
Very good. I like that.
Did you like that? I mean, maybe I could be your campaign. No,
Yeah,
I don't got
you don't
time
want to be my campaign
I don't got time
manager.
to do that. I don't got time to do that. I do have to make a correction from yesterday. A lot of people say the radio is dying, but we're going to do something completely different, and we're gonna expand our radio presence. And it's going to be I got it wrong, and I have to apologize to Nick. It's MariettaBroadcastingNetwork.com. So I got it. I called it NBC. But that is correct, and that's what the logo says. But it's actually MariettaBroadcastingNetwork.com, and if you want to go to that, you can check us out. We're trying to expand last month on the platforms that we filter through and go through. We had 450,000 views. We had a little more than that, but we'll just call it 450,000 views across the platform. And I want to thank everybody that tunes in all across the country, all across. Actually, I got people in Somalia now listening to me, and Uganda, and of course my Australian friends, and they can't wait till I get back here. I'm hoping to get back here. My wife wants to go back real soon, but it's going to be a while yet. But anyways, I want to thank you all for tuning in, and I appreciate it. I know you guys are listening different times, and with the computer and Facebook and all these different platforms, you're able to do it much easier. Okay, so we covered everything I had to cover so far today. So now it's Jon Ventre's turn.
Okay.
And you're running for lieutenant governor,
Yes, I am.
and you're running on what ticket?
A Republican.
Okay, so you are a Republican. Do you want to qualify that at all, or you want to be like the like?
Well, let's put it this way. I'm not the GOP candidate. I'm the Patriot candidate.
Okay.
And there's a world of difference between patriots and committee people and the people that, unfortunately, the 80% of the people we've elected to office in this state that they just don't protect us. They don't defend us. It's only about 20% that I'd say that we've elected that are true patriots and MAGA candidates, and that's who I am. And, I was up in Allegheny County at a big patriot meeting, and the woman in charge, she got up and she says, I've known Jon for 7 years. He's never once wavered. He's never wavered on his conservative and MAGA beliefs. And then she went into when she attended the governor debates 4 years ago, because I ran for governor. We had a debate in Newcastle, and there was, 10 or 12 candidates for governor at the time.
I was there.
Oh, you were there. You remember.
Yeah, I do.
They went right down the line, every one of the governor candidates, and the question was, did Joe Biden win legitimately? And they all said, well, there's nothing you can do about it. You got to accept the results. He got to me. Luckily, I was the last candidate in that line. And I said, Joe Biden did not win legitimately. Joe Biden is not my president because Democrats cheat and Joe Biden cheated. That auditorium, if you remember, exploded. I mean, they were like pounding the chairs because they were waiting for a patriot candidate to tell the truth. And that's exactly what I did. And that's what separates me from these other candidates. I was running against Mastriano at the time, but, he was a patriot candidate. And I'm a patriot candidate, and we're different than the bulk of the ones that get elected.
Is that where they divided? I'm pretty sure I was up there. Is that where they divided half of the candidates? Half spoke one time, half spoke another time?
No, we were all in the line.
Okay.
We were all on the stage. We were
Charlie
all in the
Guerrero
line.
was there.
Charlie, he was like next to me, and then Dave White and a few others. But, she reminded me, I had forgotten about the debate. And, it's one of the things you got, I don't want to say his name, but you got that attorney from Pittsburgh who's endorsed now as the lieutenant governor. Now I debated him 3 times. And in that debate, I'm telling you, I won that debate. I think I won all 3, but I won that debate hands down. I beat him in that debate. I got the standing ovation. And then a week later, we had our debate in Butler, and he didn't show up.
Yeah.
Come on. I hope that they do debates this time around, and I can debate him again. Right now, there's just 3 candidates, but I'm looking forward to debating.
Well, I'm sure that there'll be a debate somewhere close around Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I do believe that. They had, like I said, they had a debate up at Cannonsburg at one time, and I was actually introduced to all the candidates up there for the lieutenant governor. That was last time, I believe. Yeah, last time, and then but the one time I was at the one debate, and like you said, I believe that your opponent didn't show up, and I'm thinking Doug Mastriano didn't show up at that one.
Yeah, he didn't do any of the. See, Doug, he didn't show up at any of the debates until I think after the petitions were in. then he did 1 or 2 debates, and that was it. But he didn't debate prior to the petition cycle being over.
I don't know if we're gonna. I got to be up in Indiana County with for another one that they had but that wasn't for the lieutenant governors. But the Patriots groups are out there. One of the biggest Patriots groups in the whole state right now is in Washington County. Greene County is there's a good many over there. Fayette County, it's growing. It's a We the People movement. I mean, people are tired of being told who they should vote for.
Yeah.
I mean, to endorse before a primary is just utterly ridiculous. And then here's what else they do: if you're not the chosen candidate they want, then they won't endorse you after the primary either. Yeah. So we've all seen this happen. But anyways.
Let me just say, endorsements are for cowards. That's about as simple as I can put it.
Well, hey, let's get on with things. You're the lieutenant governor candidate, and you're a Republican, so we don't have to go into 2A and all the other things. I know that you believe that your shirt says "Never Socialist," so
if they can see it, yeah.
we're not gonna worry about that today. I'm sure that you believe in the Constitution the way it was written.
Absolutely.
I believe you believe in the state constitution, so we can forego that.
Right.
So okay, you're going to Harrisburg. Maybe we need to just tell people just a little bit about what a lieutenant governor is supposed to do, maybe just for a minute or two.
Yeah, and this is one of the reasons why I'm running for this position. There's 3 things the lieutenant governor does. They oversee the Senate, they're in charge of any crisis that takes place, and they oversee the parole board. So I fit that absolutely perfectly, and I don't think you've had a candidate for lieutenant governor that fits all 3. And I say that because I was an executive at UPS for 26 years. So I can oversee the Senate. I've overseen so many large meetings and functions. The crisis part of it, I was UPS's crisis management director for Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Virginia. So if a crisis came up, they called me. You've never had a candidate with crisis management background. And then as far as the parole board goes, I have a degree in criminal justice. I was also their state security director in 6 states. And my last 15 years, I had Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Virginia. So I've got the criminal justice background. The attorney out of Pittsburgh doesn't have that. He's not a prosecutor, so he doesn't have that background for the parole board. He's never been in charge of crisis management, which is what the lieutenant governor does. And I've got 26 years of executive experience. What he doesn't. I fit this job 100% to the T.
Okay, so you convinced me that you fit the job. So the next thing we need to go to is how do you identify with our president?
Oh, I grew up in Queens, so the Trump name for me has always been my whole life. I've known the Trump name. I've never met him in person. But, when he first ran, my daughter texted me in 2015, and her comment was, "Dad, Trump is you." That's what she said. And I said, well, I'm Trump. He's not me. But, and in fact, my son replied to it, and he said to both of us, "Dad's tougher than Trump." I mean, I do my job. And, I get results and I hold people accountable. But, I understand Trump. And I've said to people, if you grew up in New York, you understand the personality, the way he does things. I'm just used to that. And I think that people who didn't grow up in that environment don't really understand his personality. I do. I know where he's coming from, and I understand it. And, he's very creative, and so am I. He published some books. I've published 14 books. He had a reality TV show. Well, so did I, on the History Channel, also on the Discovery Channel. He owned his company, but I was an executive. There are so many parallels between Trump and I I mean, again, I think I fit right in there also.
Okay, you're elected. What do you do first?
Well, the first thing I'm going to do, and I can't do it from Lieutenant Governor, though, is I'm going to convince Stacey Garrity that the first thing we need to do is eliminate the 58-cent fuel tax in this state and put $600 to $800 back in everybody's pocket and finally give back to the people. Because what we're doing right now, Shapiro's budget is spending 7% more than we take in. He's done that all 3 years. You just can't spend, which is going to be a $7 billion deficit in a couple of years. So I want to eliminate the fuel tax. And the reason I want to do that, working for UPS, I understand transportation. The 58% fuel tax, first of all, is going to put $600 to $800 back in everyone's pocket. It's going to lower transportation costs, and it's going to lower inflation. To me, again, it's a perfect thing to do. It's a very regressive tax, and that's job one for me, is to get rid of the fuel tax. And people say, well, how are you going to do that? Well, it's $1.1 billion. It's 2% of the budget. They've increased spending over 40% in the last 5 years. I can find you 2%. You know, I worked for UPS. If you remember their first commercial, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, we controlled costs, and I will easily get us 2%, and we will get rid of the fuel tax, and that's going to benefit everybody in the state.
Okay, so I guess the next thing is we're going to work on a fuel tax. I think one of the most important things that we can work on, or you can work on, and I know that you'll have a lot of people's ear, I think, is we have to get voter integrity back in our state. We have to completely eliminate Act 77. And of course you talk to the legislators, and they say, well, we need X amount of votes, and in the Senate we got it. But actually, it can happen if we do the right things, and we can actually. There's actually some people on both sides of the aisle that are looking hard at it right now.
Well, right now nationally, 83% of the people of the United States want voter ID. They don't want mail-in ballots. They want this thing to be secure. And, you know, we've had the majority in Harrisburg in the General Assembly, and we still didn't do these things when the Republicans had the majority. And unfortunately, it was the Republicans that passed Act 77. Out of all of them, and I think there was like between the Senate and the House, like 147, 148, only 3 voted against it. That's it.
Yeah,
3.
There was one senator, right?
Yeah, and two in Lancaster.
And I always tell everybody, evidently they must still teach reading in Lancaster, because them two representatives read it.
I mean, I was a member of Judicial Watch, so I get their monthly newsletter, and I said to myself, that's not possible. We couldn't have passed mail-in ballots. And I had some heated arguments, with Kim Ward, with Eric Nelson. Why would you pass a Democrat initiative? Explain that to me. I don't understand it. And it was passed. 98% of the Republican vote passed it. It doesn't make any sense to me. But we have to get rid of Act 77. We've got to get rid of these satellite offices. Around Philly and Pittsburgh, you got these offices open for 90 days prior to the election. And basically what it is to recruit Democrats. And they come in, they recruit them, they show them how to become Democrats and how to vote Democrat.
90 days before the general election.
Yeah.
The primary will be not as much.
Right, yeah. But we shouldn't have these 90 days before the election. And plus, you go there and you want to observe it? No, you're not allowed to be a poll watcher because they're not really voting there. They're grooming them there is what they're doing, so you can't watch it. And then, the drop boxes and all of that, there's no reason for that. You want to drop it in a box, then go to your election bureau, go inside, and hand it to them at the desk, and you can drop your ballot off.
Well, I think that's the number one thing. And our senator right here in Fayette County, he voted for Act 77, and our representatives did too. the only one that I will say that had anything to say against it was Bud Cook, and he was the only one that said I made a mistake.
Yeah. Well, and the other annoying thing is when you confront a lot of them, they say to you, it was good legislation. They will not even admit that they made a mistake. At least Bud did. But these other ones won't say they said, no, it was good legislation. It was good for the Democrats. That's how Trump lost his 786,000 vote lead. He lost that over the next 3 days because of mail-in ballots.
Well, what else would we like to touch on? We got about 8 minutes.
Okay, well, a couple of things. One thing is I want real school choice. And it's not what we've been talking about. We spend 36% of the budget on public schools, $25,000 per student. It's incredible. 5th highest in the country, but we're ranked, I think it's like number 39 in the 3 R's. So what you want these students going to cyber schools, but what did they do? They pulled $175 million from cyber schools so you can keep it in the teachers' union monopoly school system, right? So you want them going to Catholic school. You want them going to cyber schools. You want them homeschooling. You want them to go to any private school other than a public school because it costs about $8,000 less and they get better grades. Every company has outsourced. We need to run Pennsylvania like a business and start outsourcing this public education because it's a failure. And throwing more money at it is not the answer. Another thing is, we need a DOSE Department of State Efficiency. And technically that should fall under the treasurer. But I was surprised to find out that
it would fall under the treasurer and what other?
Well, I would just take the department heads, all of the secretaries of, and I wouldn't add people. They would meet monthly or quarterly, go over the spending, and that's where they would start to look at efficiency. But we have a House Oversight Committee that looks at tax dollars and tax spending, and they haven't met since 2019, since COVID. So they're not looking at spending, and Shapiro's first thing he asked was, how much can I spend? And how much can I take from the rainy day fund and the reserve fund? And that's exactly what this guy has done. And again, why do we need another attorney like my opponent? Shapiro's an attorney, and he can't balance the budget. Do you really want another attorney, or do you want an executive like myself who's similar to Trump, who's going to get things done and understands business? That's what we want, and that's what we need.
How do you feel about the money falling to the children?
What do you mean the money falling
like
to the children?
Instead of if your children don't go to the public school, should that money come to you so you can send them to whatever school you want?
Yeah. We got to work it out. We have to work it out so, you're paying school taxes. Arizona has the best system, and that money follows them, and then you go to whatever private school, Catholic school, and, the state, then it gets paid. There's a voucher system, all of that. But that's what we got to do because you're going to save $8,000 a student not going to public schools. And real quick, before we run out of time, I want to freeze senior property taxes, right? I want them frozen. I think and I'm a senior, we've paid enough.
How about eliminating them?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I would rather eliminate a bunch of other taxes like the fuel tax, tolls, lower sales tax, only because if you talk to an accountant, the property tax is the only one that's tax deductible on your income tax return. The others are not. So why get rid of the one that's a deduction when you think about it? I think any tax guy is going to tell you that. Keep the deduction and get rid of the other taxes that are not tax deductible.
How would you feel about them doing a complete audit of the state?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm advocating for that here in the county. I think our county needs to have a complete audit, and it has to be done by somebody other than, it has to be outside of the county. I mean, we can pick some group somewhere and put 5 names in a hat and pull somebody out Let them do it.
Yeah, it absolutely has to get done. And, you know, we also got to reinstate those pro-life counseling centers that Shapiro got rid of. You know, I mean, everything this guy does, he doesn't have the mannerisms of the AOC and the squad. And everybody says he's moderate, but he's not. I have 50 reasons on my website, voteforventre.com, 50 reasons not to vote for Shapiro. He's very smooth, but every single time, 100% of the time, he goes far left with his policies. There's nothing moderate about this guy. If you want to read my 50 reasons not to vote for Shapiro, go to voteforventre.com and you'll see them.
And that's how people can find out more about you?
Yeah, and you'll see my plan, you'll see my resume, you'll see when I ran for county commissioner. If you read my website, you're going to like everything about me. And if you voted for Mastriano, who in the primary ran away with it, you know, then you'll vote for me. And I'm the Patriot candidate this time around, but for lieutenant governor. If you voted for him, vote for me.
Well, anyways, I don't know if that's a good thing, but
well, I'm just saying I'm the Patriot candidate.
Yeah.
That's the way I'm saying, because he did get a lot of the vote, you know.
Well, I think what's going to happen here is and I hope the Republican Party has looked down their nose at all the patriots.
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
And like I said, I often think back to the Revolutionary War. If these people would have been running the war, Daniel Morgan wouldn't have been allowed to fight.
Yeah, we're the 3%ers. But here's the thing, though, is that, you know, the committees and these endorsements, they're a very small part of the population that votes. Trump got 65% of the vote as a patriot, you know?
Yeah.
There's 100 times more patriots out there in Pennsylvania than committee people that are working this endorsement against me. That's why I say, if you're a patriot, go to my website, vote for me like you voted for Trump. That's a better example.
Yeah, that is a way
That's
better
the example, but I was thinking our election,
yeah,
you know?
that JohnVentre.com.
Voteforventre.com.
Okay, the number 4?
Yeah, number 4. Voteforventre.com.
Okay. Believe it or not, we're going to have to close up here, and we got about a minute left. I thank you for coming in. I appreciate
it. Absolutely.
If you have time, we'll get you back on another time.
Yeah.
And you know how to get this all out on social media. We got somebody working on that right now. So, anyways. I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. It's been a pleasure talking to John and getting his name out there. And if you got a chance and you get a chance to sign one of his petitions, let's get him on the ballot and let's see what happens. So, on this road called life, you have to take the good with the bad, smile with the sad, love what you got, and remember what you had. Always forgive, but never forget. People change, things go wrong, but just remember the ride goes on. God bless each and every one of you, and God bless America. I am John Marietta, and I am the Hillbilly.